You'll be shocked to know. These 38 black R&B stars are gay. Number 5 is totally unexpected. What if I told you that some of the most powerful voices in R&B and hip-hop, the very artists whose music you've danced to, cried to, and fallen in love to have been hiding in plain sight, breaking barriers you didn't even know existed? These are not just musicians. They are revolutionaries, rewriting the rules of fame, fashion, and freedom while carrying the weight of being black, queer, and unapologetically themselves in an industry that hasn't always welcomed them. From stadium anthems to underground hits, their artistry has reshaped the culture, but their personal journeys are just as bold as their music. We're diving deep into the untold stories of 38 black R&B and hip-hop icons who proudly live their truth and whose influence stretches far beyond the stage. Some names will inspire you, others will shock you, and a few might completely change the way you see the music industry forever. At Legends of Black Excellence, we're not just telling stories, we're sparking a movement. So here's the real question. Are you ready to face the truth about your favorite artists? Or will you keep listening without ever knowing the legends behind the lyrics? Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X, born Montero Lamar Hill on April 9, 1999, in Lithia Springs, Georgia, has emerged as one of the most unique and talked-about figures in modern music. Growing up in a split household, young Montero found escape and joy through the internet, particularly on Twitter and YouTube. His quick wit, sharp humor, and boundless creativity helped him build a loyal online following even before stepping into the music spotlight. The turning point came in 2019 when Old Town Road, a genre-blending track-mixing country and hip-hop, exploded on TikTok. This viral hit not only shattered records by holding the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 for 19 consecutive weeks, but also ignited a larger debate about genre boundaries in the music industry. Lil Nas X proved that a young artist could defy industry norms and succeed by embracing experimentation and originality. What truly set him apart was his decision to come out as gay at the height of his newfound fame. In June 2019, during Pride Month, Lil Nas X publicly shared his truth, challenging the deep-rooted stigmas in rap and R&B genres traditionally associated with hypermasculinity. This bold move made him an inspiration for millions of LGBTQ+ youth, especially young black men, navigating both racial and sexual identity pressures. Do you believe that coming out during a career peak is an act of bravery or a career risk? Beyond his music, Lil Nas X has used his image and artistry to make unapologetically bold statements. Music videos like Montero, Call Me by Your Name and Industry Baby sparked worldwide conversations for their provocative visuals and open embrace of queer themes. While critics labeled them controversial, supporters praised him for breaking barriers and forcing society to confront its ingrained prejudices. Social media has been one of his strongest tools. Lil Nas X masterfully blends humor, self-awareness, and sharp comebacks to maintain public interest. In the digital era, his ability to directly engage with fans has kept his persona as captivating as his music. His career has earned him multiple Grammy Awards, MTV Video Music Awards, and American Music Awards. Yet his true legacy extends far beyond accolades. He has reshaped the conversation about identity, authenticity, and representation in mainstream music. From an unknown Southern teen to an international icon, Lil Nas X stands as a fearless trailblazer who redefines what it means to be both a star and your truest self. Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean, born Christopher Edwin Breaux on October 28, 1987 in Long Beach, California, and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana, has become one of the most critically acclaimed and influential figures in contemporary R&B. His music is known for its poetic lyricism, emotional depth, and genre-blending style, which seamlessly incorporates elements of soul-funk, pop, and jazz. From his early mixtape days to his Grammy-winning albums, Ocean's artistry has pushed boundaries and redefined modern R&B. His career began quietly working behind the scenes as a songwriter for artists like Justin Bieber, John Legend, and Brandy. In 2011, under the Odd Future Collective, he released his breakthrough mixtape, Nostalgia Ultra, which caught the industry's attention with its raw honesty and innovative storytelling. Tracks like Novocaine and Swim Good hinted at a talent capable of reshaping the genre. The real game changer came in 2012 with his debut studio album, Channel Orange. Released to universal acclaim, it earned him 2 Grammy Awards, including Best Urban Contemporary Album. The project's standout tracks, such as Thinkin' 'Bout You, Bad Religion, and Pyramids, showcased his ability to merge deeply personal themes with expansive experimental soundscapes. Just before the album's release, Frank Ocean made headlines by openly discussing his love for a man in a heartfelt Tumblr post. This revelation, rare in the R&B and hip-hop world, was met with both praise and controversy. Do you think Frank Ocean's decision to share his truth changed how the music industry views LGBTQ+ representation? Ocean's vulnerability and willingness to speak openly about his identity marked a pivotal moment in music history, inspiring countless fans and breaking down barriers for queer artists, especially in genres historically dominated by heteronormative narratives. 4 years later, he released Blonde 2016, a genre-defying masterpiece that cemented his status as an innovator. The album, featuring tracks like Nike's Pink plus White and Self-Control, abandoned traditional song structures in favor of a more fluid atmospheric approach. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and received widespread critical acclaim, often appearing on Best Albums of the Decade lists. Frank Ocean is known for his mystique, shying away from interviews and limiting public appearances. This has only amplified his allure, making every release or public statement feel like a cultural event. Outside of music, he has explored photography, fashion, and art, curating visual aesthetics that mirror the intimacy and introspection of his songs. Despite his reclusive nature, Ocean's influence on R&B and popular music is undeniable. He has paved the way for artists to embrace emotional complexity, lyrical honesty, and sexual fluidity without fear of alienating their audiences. His work continues to resonate deeply with listeners across the globe, blending personal storytelling with universal human experiences. From a behind-the-scenes songwriter to a groundbreaking genre-shaping icon, Frank Ocean has proven that authenticity and innovation can coexist, redefining not just R&B, but the cultural expectations placed on black male artists in the a formidable actress, appearing in critically acclaimed films like Moonlight 2016, which won the Academy Award for Best Picture, and Hidden Figures 2016, where she portrayed real-life NASA engineer Mary Jackson. More recently, she starred in Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery 2022, further cementing her reputation as a versatile performer capable of commanding both stage and screen. Her artistry is deeply tied to activism. Mona has been a vocal advocate for racial justice, LGBTQ+ rights, and women's empowerment. She founded the Femme the Future initiative to support women in film and the arts, and has used her platform to speak out against systemic oppression, often weaving social commentary into her performances and public appearances. Unlike many artists who follow industry trends, Monet creates her own lane, merging music, fashion, and film into a unified artistic statement. She draws inspiration from Prince, David Bowie, and Octavia E. Butler, yet infuses her work with a distinctly modern black and queer perspective. From her conceptual suites to her groundbreaking performances, Janelle Monáe represents a new kind of icon, one who is not only an entertainer, but also a cultural architect, challenging audiences to imagine a future where individuality and authenticity are celebrated above all else. Kehlani Ashley Parrish, born April 24, 1995 in Oakland, California, has carved a unique space in contemporary R&B through raw honesty, soulful melodies, and a deep commitment to representing marginalized voices. Raised in a challenging environment, Kehlani's early years were shaped by instability. Her father passed away from a drug overdose when she was a toddler, and her mother struggled with addiction. She was primarily raised by her aunt, who nurtured her love for music and performing arts. Her initial rise to fame came as a member of the teen pop group Poplife, which reached the finals on America's Got Talent in 2011. Although the group didn't win, Kehlani's voice and charisma caught the attention of industry professionals. After leaving the group, she faced a period of homelessness, sleeping on friends' couches while trying to rebuild her career. This perseverance paid off when she released her 2014 mixtape Cloud 19, which drew praise for its fresh contemporary take on R&B. Kehlani's breakthrough came with her 2015 mixtape You Should Be Here, earning a Grammy nomination for Best Urban Contemporary Album. Her debut studio album, Sweet Sexy Savage 2017, showcased her ability to weave vulnerability and confidence into songs like CRZY and Distraction. Her second album, It Was Good Until It Wasn't 2020, and third, Blue Water Road 2022, revealed an even deeper level of emotional transparency, exploring love, heartbreak, growth, and healing. In 2018, Kehlani publicly came out as queer, and in 2021, she clarified her identity as a lesbian, becoming one of the most visible, openly gay Black women in R&B today. Her openness has made her a role model for fans navigating their own journeys of self-discovery. Do you think Kehlani's candid approach to love and identity has made her music more relatable to a global audience? Beyond music, Kehlani is recognized for their activism. They have spoken out about mental health, body positivity, and the importance of LGBTQ+ representation in the entertainment industry. Their personal journey, which includes surviving sexual assault, facing public scrutiny over relationships, and becoming a parent to daughter Adea, has only strengthened their connection to fans who appreciate their willingness to share both triumphs and struggles. Kehlani's artistry blends genres effortlessly, drawing from R&B, pop, hip-hop, and neo-soul. Collaborations with artists like Cardi B, Ring, Zedd, Good Thing, and Justin Bieber. Up at Night highlight her versatility, while solo tracks like Nights Like This and Can I reflect her emotional depth. Fashion is another realm where Kehlani stands out. Their style, a mix of streetwear, vintage, and gender-fluid looks, mirrors their personal ethos, authenticity over conformity. They've also been outspoken about the importance of creating safe spaces for queer fans at concerts, ensuring their shows feel inclusive and welcoming. From a teenage hopeful on a reality stage to an acclaimed, chart-topping, openly queer R&B star, Kehlani has transformed vulnerability into strength, using her platform to inspire others to embrace their full selves without apology. Her journey is proof that resilience, honesty, and self-love can be as powerful as any melody. Young M.A. Young M.A. born Katora Marrero on April 3, 1992 in Brooklyn, New York, is a rapper whose unapologetic confidence and lyrical skill have made her one of the most prominent, openly lesbian figures in modern hip-hop. Raised primarily by her mother after her father's incarceration, young M.A. grew up in the East New York neighborhood, an environment that both challenged and shaped her into the artist she is today. She began writing rhymes at the age of 9, inspired by the raw storytelling of New York rap legends, and quickly developed a style rooted in authenticity, grit, and street sensibility. Her breakthrough came in 2016 with the viral single, Oh! The track's swagger, wordplay, and infectious hook caught fire on social media, earning over 300 million YouTube views and heavy radio play. Unlike many mainstream rap hits, Oh, Ooh stood out for featuring a queer woman confidently delivering verses that could rival and even surpass her male counterparts. This song catapulted young M.A. into the national spotlight, leading to collaborations with artists like 50 Cent, Eminem, and Alicia Keys. From the beginning, young M.A. has been open about her sexuality, a rarity in the male-dominated rap industry, where LGBTQ+ artists have often faced marginalization. Rather than softening her image or conforming to expectations, she embraced her masculine presenting style, using it as a core part of her brand. Do you think young M.A.'s success has helped pave the way for more openly queer artists in rap and R&B? Her 2019 debut studio album, Herstory in the Making, showcased her storytelling abilities, blending themes of ambition, loss, love, and street life. Songs like Pettywap and No Mercy revealed her versatility, switching from confident bravado to reflective honesty. The album was deeply personal, with young M.A. dedicating it to her late brother Kenneth, whose tragic death in 2009 had a profound impact on her life and music. Young M.A. has also been praised for her ability to stay independent in an industry where major label deals are often seen as essential to success. She has built her own brand, Challenge Management, and has been deliberate about maintaining creative control. Her approach reflects a growing movement among artists who value ownership of their work over the traditional label structure. Outside of music, she's made appearances on television shows, engaged in philanthropy, and become a role model for young LGBTQ+ fans, especially those who rarely see themselves represented in mainstream hip-hop. Her bold fashion choices, preference for men's streetwear, and refusal to conform to gender norms have resonated with a generation seeking authenticity over image. Young M.A.'s journey from a Brooklyn neighborhood to global stages is a testament to resilience, self-belief, and the power of staying true to one's identity. By breaking barriers in both gender presentation and sexuality within rap, she's not only claimed her place among hip-hop's most respected voices, but has also expanded the space for others to follow. Her legacy is already being written in bold, unapologetic capital letters. Saucy Santana. Saucy Santana, born Justin Harris on October 8, 1993 in Bridgeport, Connecticut, is a rapper and media personality whose bold personality, catchy hooks, and unapologetic embrace of queerness have made him one of the most talked-about figures in modern hip-hop. Raised in Perry, Florida, Santana initially pursued a career far from the recording booth. He began as a makeup artist working with high-profile clients, including members of the rap group City Girls. His natural charisma and social media presence, however, hinted that he was destined for the spotlight himself. In 2019, Santana began releasing music, starting with playful tracks like Walk M Like a Dog. His ability to blend humor, confidence, and street-smart lyrics quickly caught the attention of online audiences. That same year, he survived a targeted shooting in Miami, an incident he later spoke about, candidly framing it as both a moment of trauma and motivation to push forward in his career. Santana's big breakout came in 2020 with viral hits such as Walk and Material Girl. These songs not only became social media anthems, but also showcased his ability to craft addictive hooks that resonate across demographics. Unlike many rappers, he's never shied away from expressing his femininity or referencing male love interests in his lyrics, creating an authentic connection with fans who value his openness. Do you think Saucy Santana's rise proves that hip-hop audiences are becoming more accepting of openly queer artists? Known for his witty punchlines, high-energy performances, and fearless fashion sense, from glitter-covered beards to bold, gender-fluid outfits, Santana has built a brand that thrives on individuality. His personality is just as much a part of his success as his music, with his interviews and social media posts often going viral for their humor and candidness. Santana has also been embraced by other major figures in music. He's collaborated with the City Girls on multiple occasions and has received public support from artists like Lizzo and Madonna. His remix of Material Girl with Madonna in 2022 marked a significant pop culture moment, blending his unapologetic style with the legacy of a global music icon. His lyrics often mix celebration and resilience, reflecting the dual realities of being a queer black man in hip-hop joy, in self-expression and determination in the face of prejudice. Rather than positioning himself as an outsider to rap culture, Santana has claimed his space within it not as a novelty, but as a legitimate artist whose work belongs alongside mainstream peers. Off-stage, he uses his platform to advocate for LGBTQ+ visibility, often speaking on issues of acceptance and representation in music. His presence in the industry challenges outdated stereotypes about what a rapper can look and sound like, inspiring a new wave of artists to step forward without hiding their identities. From makeup brushes to sold-out shows, Saucy Santana's journey is a testament to reinvention, perseverance, and the undeniable power of living authentically. He hasn't just entered hip-hop, he's strutted in heels, and made the room his own. Doechii. Doechii, born Jayla Hickman on August 14, 1998 in Tampa, Florida, is one of the most exciting and unpredictable voices in today's rap and R&B landscape. Nicknamed the Swamp Princess for her southern roots and avant-garde aesthetic, she has rapidly built a reputation for blending bold visuals, theatrical performance, and razor-sharp lyricism into a style that refuses to be boxed in. Growing up in Florida, Doechii was surrounded by a melting pot of musical influences from gospel and soul to pop-punk and southern rap. She began writing poetry and experimenting with music as a teenager, posting her creations online while honing her vocal and rap abilities. Her early exposure to theater and dance also shaped her stagecraft, giving her performances a dynamic, almost cinematic quality. Her breakthrough came in 2020 with the viral track Yucky Blucky Fruitcake. The song's autobiographical verses, witty delivery, and catchy hook spread across TikTok, introducing millions to her fearless personality. Soon after, she released the EP, Oh, the Places You'll Go, and the 2021 project Brayless, which showcased her genre versatility and narrative depth. In 2022, Doechii signed with TDE Top Dog Entertainment, the powerhouse label behind artists like Kendrick Lamar and SZA, becoming the label's first female rapper. That same year, she dropped Persuasive and Crazy, two tracks that couldn't be more different in tone but equally cemented her ability to shapeshift between smooth, dreamy R&B and hard-hitting rap aggression. Do you think Doechii's fearless experimentation will influence a new wave of boundary-breaking women in hip-hop? One of her defining traits is her theatrical approach to music videos and live shows. In Crazy, she delivers a raw, high-energy performance with provocative, almost punk rock visuals. Meanwhile, Persuasive offers a more ethereal, club-ready vibe, proving she's equally comfortable in different sonic worlds. Doechii is also outspoken about her identity, openly embracing her queerness and advocating for greater LGBTQ+ visibility in hip-hop. Her unapologetic presentation, from bold fashion choices to lyrics about self-love and individuality, has resonated deeply with fans who see her as a beacon of authenticity in an industry that often rewards conformity. Her 2023 debut album, Swamp Princess, further expanded her artistry, merging introspection with playful swagger. Tracks navigate themes like ambition, self-discovery, relationships, and resilience, all while keeping the listener on their toes with unexpected beat switches and vocal shifts. In addition to her musical prowess, Doechii is a cultural chameleon, drawing inspiration from icons like Missy Elliott, Outkast, and Grace Jones, yet translating those influences into something distinctly her own. Her rise reflects a broader shift in hip-hop towards celebrating individuality and dismantling rigid genre norms. From Tampa's underground scene to major festival stages, Doechii's path has been marked by fearlessness, reinvention, and a refusal to dilute her art for the sake of mass appeal. With her bold vision and undeniable talent, she's not just participating in hip-hop's future, she's helping write it. Isaiah Rashad. Isaiah Rashad McLean, born May 16, 1991 in Chattanooga, Tennessee, has built a career defined by introspection, lyrical honesty, and a sound that blends Southern rap with soulful, jazz-infused melodies. Unlike many of his peers in modern hip-hop, Rashad is less interested in hype-driven bravado and more focused on crafting deeply personal narratives that resonate with listeners on an emotional level. Growing up in Chattanooga, Rashad was introduced to hip-hop through his stepfather's collection of Outkast and Scarface records. This early exposure ignited his love for music, but his initial dream was to become a preacher. That changed in high school when he began rapping with friends, eventually deciding to pursue music full-time. After briefly attending Middle Tennessee State University, Rashad dropped out to focus on his career. His breakthrough came in 2013 when he signed with Top Dog Entertainment TDE, the influential label home to Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q, and SZA. That same year, he joined TDE's BET Hip Hop Awards Cypher, earning national attention for his smooth delivery and reflective lyrics. In 2014, Rashad released his debut project, Sylvia Demo, which received critical acclaim for its storytelling and emotional depth. The project tackled themes like depression, family struggles, ambition, and the search for identity, topics that would become trademarks of his music. 2 years later, he dropped The Sun's Tirade 2016, an album that debuted at number 17 on the Billboard 200. While sonically lush and soulful, it was also a raw account of Rashad's struggles with depression, anxiety, and substance abuse. His openness about mental health resonated with fans who connected to his vulnerability. Do you think Isaiah Rashad's willingness to address mental health in his lyrics has helped normalize those conversations in hip-hop? In 2021, Rashad returned after a 5-year hiatus with The House is Burning, a project that maintained his trademark introspection while embracing a more upbeat, experimental energy. Songs like Headshots 4R, Day Locals, and From the Garden demonstrated his ability to balance personal storytelling with crowd-moving production. The album marked not just a musical comeback but also a personal rebirth. That same year, Rashad's personal life became the subject of public discussion when a private video of him with other men was leaked without his consent. Rather than retreat, he addressed the situation openly in interviews and on stage, acknowledging his fluid sexuality. His candidness about his identity, paired with his refusal to let the incident derail his career, was met with widespread support from fans and fellow artists, solidifying his place as a respected voice for authenticity and self-acceptance in hip-hop. Isaiah Rashad's artistry is built on subtlety. He's not the loudest figure in rap, nor does he rely on controversy to stay relevant. Instead, he thrives on a steady output of music that rewards attentive listening, layered production, and thoughtful lyricism. His Southern roots remain evident in his warm conversational flow, while his thematic depth ensures his work stands apart in an often image-driven industry. From a young man in Chattanooga with a dream to a nationally respected lyricist, unafraid to live his truth, Isaiah Rashad has proven that quiet resilience can leave just as lasting an impact as the loudest voices in the room. Azialia Banks. Azialia Amanda Banks, born May 31, 1991 in Harlem, New York, is one of the most talented yet polarizing figures in contemporary hip-hop and R&B. Known for her lightning-fast flow, genre-hopping musical style, and unapologetic personality, Banks has built a career that exists in equal measure between critical acclaim and public controversy. Raised by a single mother after her father's death when she was just 2 years old, Banks grew up in a tough neighborhood, but found refuge in the arts. She attended the famed LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts, initially pursuing acting before deciding to focus on music. Her breakout moment came in 2011 with the release of 212, a brash, club-ready track that became an international sensation. The song's infectious beat and fearless lyrics introduced the world to an artist who could rap, sing, and command a beat with unmatched confidence. Unlike many newcomers, Banks refused to conform to a single sound. Her music effortlessly blended hip-hop, house, EDM, and R&B, setting her apart from more traditional rappers. In 2014, she released her debut album, Broke with Expensive Taste, which critics hailed as a bold and innovative body of work. Songs like Chasing Time and Luxury showcased her ability to merge underground club influences with pop sensibilities. The album's eclectic nature reflected Banks's refusal to be boxed into one genre, a pattern she has maintained throughout her career. Do you think Azialia Banks's fearless refusal to follow industry rules has helped or hurt her long-term success? Beyond her music, Banks is known for her outspoken personality, a trait that has brought her both loyal supporters and vocal critics. She has engaged in public feuds with other celebrities, spoken out on racial issues in the music industry, and challenged the lack of opportunities for Black women in alternative genres. While some argue her candor has overshadowed her artistry, others see it as an extension of her authenticity and refusal to dilute her message. Her openness about her bisexuality has also made her a visible LGBTQ+ figure in music, particularly in hip-hop, a space that has historically been resistant to queer voices. Banks has frequently incorporated themes of sexual liberation and empowerment into her lyrics and visuals, making her a cultural touchstone for fans who value bold self-expression. In addition to her musical career, Banks has dabbled in acting, entrepreneurship, and even culinary arts, launching her own product lines and exploring different creative outlets. Despite industry setbacks, label disputes, and periods of hiatus, she continues to release music independently with tracks like Anna Wintour and Black Madonna, reminding fans of her undeniable talent. Azealia Banks is an artist who thrives in contradiction, brilliant yet unpredictable, celebrated yet criticized, mainstream yet underground. She has influenced a generation of artists who, like her, refuse to compromise their vision for mass approval. Whether one loves or loathes her public persona, there is no denying her impact on the cultural and musical landscape. She has made it clear that she will continue to create on her own terms, regardless of who approves. Monifa Carter, born January 28, 1972 in Manhattan, New York, rose to fame in the mid-1990s with a voice that blended the smooth sensuality of classic soul with the urban edge of contemporary R&B. A native of Harlem, she was raised in a culturally rich environment, surrounded by music theater and community pride. Monifa's earliest musical influences came from the legends of soul voices like Gladys Knight, Chaka Khan, and Aretha Franklin, which she often tried to emulate as a child. Her big break came when she was discovered by the late rapper Heavy D, who took her under his wing and helped her secure a deal with Uptown Records. In 1996, she released her debut album, Moods, Moments, which produced hits like I Miss You, Come Back Home, and The Gold-Selling You. Her sultry vocals and relatable storytelling quickly made her a favorite among R&B listeners. She followed up with Mahogany in 1998, featuring the hit single Touch It, which became a club anthem and a crossover success. Despite her career momentum, Monifa faced the challenges of an evolving music industry and personal struggles that led her to take a step back from the spotlight in the early 2000s. During this time, she focused on self-growth and living more authentically, eventually becoming one of the few prominent Black female R&B singers to come out publicly as part of the LGBTQ+ community. Do you think Monifa's openness about her sexuality helped create more space for queer representation in R&B? Her return to the public eye came in 2012 when she joined the cast of TV One's reality series, R&B Divas Atlanta. On the show, she not only shared her professional journey, but also allowed cameras to capture her personal life, including her relationship with Therese Thorpe. In 2014, Monifa and Therese made history when their wedding aired on national television, marking one of the first same-sex marriages between African-American women to be featured on a reality show. This moment was celebrated as a milestone for Black queer visibility in mainstream media. Musically, Monifa has remained active, performing live and releasing singles that showcase her enduring vocal power. Her performances often blend nostalgic hits from her early career with new material, reaffirming her ability to connect with audiences across generations. She has also spoken openly about the importance of self-love, resilience, and breaking cycles of silence around identity in the Black community. Outside of music, Monifa has been involved in advocacy work, using her platform to champion LGBTQ+ rights, HIV/AIDS awareness, and issues affecting women of color in the entertainment industry. Her journey from chart-topping artist to cultural advocate has been marked by courage, vulnerability, and a refusal to conform to limiting expectations. Today, Monifa stands as more than just a voice from the 90s R&B golden era. She is a symbol of authenticity and perseverance. Her story reminds fans that true artistry is not only about the music you create, but also about the life you live and the truth you're willing to share with the world. Rahsaan Patterson. Born January 11, 1974 in New York City, has built a career defined by his silky vocals, masterful songwriting, and unwavering dedication to authentic artistry. Long before becoming a respected name in R&B, Patterson captured hearts as a child actor on the late 1980s hit children's show Kids Incorporated, where his natural charisma and vocal talent were impossible to miss. Surrounded by music from an early age, he was inspired by gospel, soul, and funk influences that would later shape his signature sound. By the mid-1990s, Patterson transitioned from television to the music industry, signing with MCA Records. His self-titled debut album, released in 1997, introduced listeners to his warm, emotive tone and intricate vocal arrangements. Songs like Stop By and Where You Are reflected a sophisticated approach to R&B that favored depth over formulaic trends. Critics praised his ability to merge the classic sensibilities of artists like Stevie Wonder and Donny Hathaway with contemporary grooves. His follow-up album, Love in Stereo 1999, further established Patterson as a connoisseur of soul music. With tracks like Treat You Like a Queen and It's All Right Now, he demonstrated his knack for blending romance, optimism, and intricate musicianship. Though not always a mainstream chart topper, Patterson earned a loyal fan base that valued his consistency and artistry over fleeting trends. In 2007, he made headlines for openly discussing his sexuality in interviews, becoming one of the few male R&B singers at the time to be publicly out as gay. His honesty was met with respect from fans who had long sensed his music was rooted in a deep sense of self-acceptance and emotional truth. Do you think Rahsaan Patterson's openness in the mid-2000s helped pave the way for today's openly queer R&B artists? Over the years, Patterson's discography has continued to evolve without sacrificing integrity. Albums like Wines and Spirits 2007, Bluephoria 2011, and Heroes and Gods 2019 showcased his willingness to experiment with funk, jazz, and even electronic textures while keeping soul at the core. His lyrical themes range from love and desire to spirituality and resilience, often delivered with vocal phrasing that conveys both vulnerability and power. Live performances are another area where Patterson shines. Known for his impeccable vocal control and improvisational skill, he has the ability to transform familiar songs into fresh, emotionally charged experiences. Fans and critics alike have noted that his concerts often feel like intimate conversations, even in large venues. Beyond music, Patterson has used his platform to advocate for self-love, LGBTQ+ visibility, and creative freedom in an industry that can be restrictive for artists who don't conform to commercial molds. His career is a testament to the idea that longevity in music comes from authenticity and the courage to follow one's own artistic compass. Today, Rahsaan Patterson remains a beloved figure in R&B, admired for his artistry, honesty, and refusal to chase trends. In a musical landscape that often prioritizes instant hits over lasting impact, he stands as a reminder that true soul transcends time and that staying genuine is the greatest legacy an artist can leave. Billy Newton Davis. Billy Newton Davis, born April 26, 1951 in Cleveland, Ohio, is a celebrated vocalist whose career has spanned R&B, jazz, gospel, and dance music. Known for his rich, expressive tone and ability to adapt across genres, Newton Davis has built a legacy on both his technical skill and his fearless authenticity. Raised in a musically inclined family, he grew up singing in church and listening to everything from gospel choirs to Motown hits. This early exposure laid the foundation for a career defined by versatility and emotional depth. In the 1970s, Newton Davis moved to New York City, where he immersed himself in the vibrant performing arts scene. He worked on Broadway in productions such as Ain't Misbehavin' and Sophisticated Ladies, experiences that sharpened his stage presence and broadened his artistic range. His theatrical training gave him an edge in music performance, allowing him to deliver songs with both technical precision and dramatic flair. His recording career took off in the mid-1980s when he relocated to Toronto, Canada, and signed with a record label there. His debut album, Love is a Contact Sport 1986, earned him a Juno Award for Best R&B Soul Recording. Songs like Deeper and Right Beside You showcased his ability to blend classic soul with contemporary production. He would go on to win multiple Junos, solidifying his status as one of Canada's most respected R&B voices. In addition to his solo work, Newton Davis became known for high-profile collaborations. He recorded with Celine Dion, starred in concerts with legendary jazz artists, and gained international attention through his work with the Canadian electronic group deadmau5, lending his vocals to the hit track I Like the Feeling. These partnerships demonstrated his adaptability, moving seamlessly from the intimacy of a jazz ballad to the energy of a dance floor anthem. Do you think Billy Newton Davis's ability to cross genres helped expand his reach beyond traditional R&B audiences? Openly gay for much of his career, Newton Davis has been a proud advocate for LGBTQ+ visibility in music. His openness was particularly significant in the 1980s and 1990s, when few male R&B artists felt safe to speak publicly about their sexuality. His visibility has inspired younger generations of queer performers to embrace their identities without fear. Outside of performing, Newton Davis has also contributed to community initiatives supporting HIV/AIDS awareness campaigns and programs promoting arts education for youth. His commitment to giving back reflects his belief that an artist's role extends beyond the stage. Even after decades in the industry, his voice remains as powerful and emotive as ever. Whether performing in an intimate jazz club or headlining a major event, Billy Newton Davis brings the same passion and professionalism that have defined his career from the start. From Broadway to Billboard charts, and from gospel beginnings to international collaborations, Billy Newton Davis's journey is a testament to artistic fearlessness. He has never been confined by a single genre, audience, or identity. Instead, he has used every facet of his talent to connect with listeners worldwide and pave the way for greater diversity and representation in music. Sakima, born Isaac. Sakima in London, England, is a singer-songwriter and producer whose work blends alternative R&B, electronic pop, and deeply personal lyricism centered on LGBTQ+ identity. Unlike many mainstream artists who shy away from explicitly queer storytelling, Sakima has built his career on centering it, singing about male-male relationships, intimacy, and desire without euphemism. His mission has been clear from the start: to normalize queer narratives in pop and R&B so they exist alongside heterosexual love stories without being treated as niche. Raised in the United Kingdom, Sakima grew up in a multicultural environment and began making music as a teenager. He studied music at university, honing his skills in production and songwriting while exploring the intersection of electronic beats and soulful melodies. His early work caught the attention of online audiences for its polished production and refreshing honesty about queer experiences. Sakima first gained broader attention with singles like Daddy and Pretty Boy songs that mixed sensual R&B grooves with unapologetically gay themes. These tracks stood out not just for their catchy hooks, but for their bold refusal to de-gay their content to appeal to a wider audience. While some industry executives advised him to tone down the explicit LGBTQ+ references, Sakima remained committed to telling his truth. In 2017, he released the Facsimile EP, which solidified his artistic identity. The project balanced darker, brooding electronic soundscapes with vulnerable lyrics about relationships, sex, and self-acceptance. Songs like Ur Body and Death Stranding demonstrated his ability to weave intimacy and emotional complexity into music that still felt club-ready. Do you think artists like Sakima are helping break the stigma around explicit queer storytelling in mainstream music? What sets Sakima apart from many queer musicians is his deliberate push against heteronormative pop conventions. Rather than coding his lyrics or using gender-neutral pronouns, he embraces specificity, creating representation that mirrors the authenticity queer listeners have long craved. He has stated in interviews that one of his goals is to give young LGBTQ+ people the kind of music he wished he had growing up, songs where queer love and desire were simply presented as normal. Beyond his solo work, Sakima has collaborated with electronic and dance producers, lending his voice and songwriting skills to tracks that merge the intimacy of R&B with the euphoria of EDM. These partnerships have expanded his reach to global audiences while maintaining his queer-centered approach. Sakima's openness about his sexuality and his refusal to dilute his art have positioned him as both a musician and an advocate. While his work has yet to reach full commercial mainstream dominance, his influence can be seen in the growing number of pop and R&B artists who now feel empowered to be more explicit about LGBTQ+ themes. In an industry that often prioritizes marketability over representation, Sakima stands as proof that there is a dedicated audience for music that is authentic, inclusive, and emotionally resonant. His career is still unfolding, but he has already contributed to a cultural shift in how queer stories are told in R&B and pop, not as side notes, but as central narratives worthy of the main stage. Kaytranada. Kaytranada, born Louis Kevin Celestin on August 25, 1992 in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and raised in Montreal, Canada, has become one of the most innovative producers and DJs of his generation. Known for blending R&B, hip-hop, funk, and electronic music into a seamless, groove-heavy sound, he has transformed the modern perception of what R&B-infused dance music can be. His production style is instantly recognizable: lush chords, deep bass lines, syncopated percussion, and a warm analog feel that makes his tracks as suitable for a late-night dance floor as for intimate headphone listening. Kaytranada's love for music began in his teens when he taught himself to DJ and produce using home software. By uploading remixes and original beats to SoundCloud in the early 2010s, he built a loyal underground following. His breakthrough came with his rework of Janet Jackson's If, which went viral, and cemented his reputation as a remixing prodigy capable of breathing new life into classic tracks. In 2016, he released his debut album 99.9%, which won the Polaris Music Prize and showcased his skill in merging genres. The album featured collaborations with artists like Anderson .Paak, Vic Mensa, and Sid, weaving together silky R&B melodies with pulsating electronic beats. Critics praised it as both forward-thinking and deeply rooted in Black musical traditions. His follow-up, Bubba 2019, earned him 2 Grammy Awards, including Best Dance Electronic Album, making him the first Black artist to win in that category. Tracks like 10% featuring Kali Uchis and Go DJ featuring CR embodied his ability to craft music that feels both experimental and accessible. Do you think Kaytranada's success has helped open more doors for Black producers in electronic and R&B fusion genres? Openly gay since 2016, Kaytranada has spoken candidly about the challenges of navigating the music industry as a queer Black man in spaces where representation is still limited. His honesty has resonated with fans who see him not only as a sonic innovator, but also as a role model for living authentically. Unlike many artists who shy away from discussing identity, he integrates his experiences into his art, subtly shaping his collaborations and the stories his music tells. Kaytranada's production style draws from a wide spectrum of influences, from Haitian compa rhythms to Dilla-esque hip-hop beats, from deep house grooves to 1980s boogie funk. This eclecticism has made him a go-to collaborator for artists across genres, including Alicia Keys, Kendrick Lamar, The Internet, Craig David, and H.E.R. His beats often carry a timeless quality, proving that dance music rooted in soul can transcend fleeting trends. In live settings, Kaytranada delivers energetic DJ sets and live performances that blur the line between concert and club experience. His shows are known for their seamless transitions, unexpected track selections, and ability to keep audiences locked in for hours. From his SoundCloud beginnings to Grammy wins, Kaytranada's career reflects a deep commitment to craftsmanship and authenticity. He has shown that it's possible to break barriers in multiple genres while staying true to one's identity. In doing so, he has redefined the sound of modern R&B and dance, influencing a new wave of producers to think beyond traditional boundaries. Big Freedia. Big Freedia, born Freddie Ross Jr. on January 28, 1978 in New Orleans, Louisiana, is a rapper, performer, and cultural icon credited with bringing the New Orleans-born bounce music genre into the mainstream. Known as the Queen Diva, Freedia has spent decades redefining the sound style and visibility of Southern hip-hop, while championing LGBTQ+ representation in a genre that has historically excluded queer voices. Raised in the vibrant yet challenging neighborhoods of New Orleans, Freedia's early years were steeped in gospel music. She began singing in church choirs, developing vocal control and performance confidence that would later serve her well on stage. Inspired by local bounce pioneers like Katie Red herself, a transgender bounce artist, Freedia began performing in the late 1990s, gradually earning a loyal local following for her high-energy sets and infectious stage presence. Bounce music, with its rapid-fire call and response chants, heavy bass, and twerking-friendly rhythms, had long been a regional phenomenon. Freedia, however, had bigger plans to take the sound global. Her breakthrough came in the early 2010s, when she gained national exposure through the reality TV series Big Freedia, Queen of Bounce, which aired on Fuse from 2013 to 2017. The show not only introduced millions to bounce, but also offered an unfiltered look at Freedia's life as a proud, openly gay artist navigating fame. Her collaborations expanded her reach beyond the underground. She lent her unmistakable voice to Beyoncé's Formation and Drake's Nice for What, two major hits that incorporated bounce elements into mainstream pop culture. These features marked a turning point, solidifying bounce as an influential force in modern music. Do you think Big Freedia's collaborations with global superstars have permanently changed how mainstream audiences view bounce music? Freedia's live shows are legendary, part concert, part dance party, and part cultural celebration. Known for commanding the stage with boundless energy, she encourages audience participation, often inviting fans to dance alongside her. Her charisma and inclusive spirit have made her a beloved figure not just in New Orleans, but worldwide. Beyond music, Big Freedia has become an advocate for LGBTQ+ visibility, racial equality, and disaster recovery in her hometown. After Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans in 2005, she used her platform to raise awareness and funds for rebuilding efforts. Her memoir, Big Freedia, God Save the Queen Diva 2015, detailed her journey from humble beginnings to international fame, offering an inspiring testament to perseverance. In recent years, Freedia has continued releasing singles, touring internationally, and collaborating with artists across genres, including Kesha Lizzo and Icona Pop. She has also ventured into the culinary world with her own line of products, merging her cultural roots with entrepreneurial ambition. Big Freedia's career is a reminder that authenticity can be a powerful driver of success. By staying true to her sound, her city, and her identity, she has transformed bounce from a local movement into a global phenomenon. She hasn't just brought New Orleans culture to the world, she's made sure it has a permanent place in the soundtrack of modern music. Honey Dijon. Honey Dijon, born Honey Redmond in Chicago, Illinois, is a globally celebrated DJ, producer, and cultural figure whose career bridges the worlds of electronic music, fashion, and LGBTQ+ advocacy. Known for her impeccable mixing skills, deep knowledge of house music history, and unapologetic identity as a Black transgender woman, she has become one of the most respected and sought-after figures in the dance music scene. Growing up in Chicago, the birthplace of house music, Honey was immersed in a vibrant musical culture from an early age. Influenced by the city's legendary DJs like Frankie Knuckles and Ron Hardy, she developed a passion for the deep grooves and soulful rhythms of house. By her teenage years, she was already sneaking into clubs to experience the underground scene firsthand, absorbing the sound and style that would shape her career. In the 1990s, Honey moved to New York City, where she quickly became part of the city's club and fashion circles. Her DJ sets, known for seamlessly blending house, disco, techno, and funk, earned her a reputation as a master of her craft. She played at iconic venues around the world, from Berlin's Panorama Bar to festivals like Coachella and Glastonbury. Honey's skills go beyond technical precision. Her sets are storytelling experiences, often weaving together tracks that celebrate freedom, self-expression, and inclusivity on the dance floor. Her 2017 debut album, The Best of Both Worlds, showcased her production abilities, featuring tracks that fused classic house sensibilities with modern beats. Do you think Honey Dijon's presence in both music and fashion has helped broaden the conversation about transgender representation in global culture? Beyond music, Honey Dijon is deeply embedded in the fashion world. She has DJ'd runway shows for designers like Louis Vuitton, Dior, and Prada, and has collaborated with brands including Comme des Garçons, who released a fragrance in her honor. Her influence extends to styling and cultural consulting, helping fashion houses connect authentically with LGBTQ+ communities. As an outspoken advocate for transgender rights, Honey has used her platform to highlight issues of inclusivity and equality, particularly for Black and brown trans people. She often speaks about the challenges she faced breaking into industries that have historically marginalized both women and LGBTQ+ individuals, making her success not just a personal victory, but a cultural milestone. Her career is also a celebration of intersectionality, blending her Chicago house roots, New York club culture, global fashion connections, and activism into a singular, powerful presence. In interviews, she has emphasized that her artistry is inseparable from her identity and that visibility can be as impactful as the music itself. Honey Dijon's journey from Chicago's underground clubs to international stages and luxury runways is a testament to resilience, creativity, and fearlessness. She has shown that an artist can be more than just a performer. They can be a cultural force shaping how the world sees music, fashion, and identity. In doing so, she has paved the way for a new generation of artists who refuse to be confined by genre, gender, or expectation. Syd the Internet. Syd born Sydney. Lauren Bennett, on April 23, 1992, in Los Angeles, California, is a singer-songwriter and producer, best known as the lead vocalist of the Grammy-nominated band The Internet, and as a founding member of the hip-hop collective Odd Future. Her silky, understated voice, combined with a knack for crafting intimate, groove-heavy tracks, has made her one of the most distinctive figures in alternative R&B. Raised in a musical household, Syd was exposed to a wide range of sounds from an early age. Her parents encouraged her creativity, and by her teens, she was already producing music from her bedroom studio. Her early fascination with engineering and beat-making set her apart from many singers who rely solely on vocal performance. Syd wanted to understand the entire process from composition to mixing. Her career began behind the scenes, working as the in-house engineer for Odd Future, recording and mixing tracks for artists like Tyler, the Creator, and Earl Sweatshirt. While she initially preferred to stay out of the spotlight, her talents as a vocalist soon became impossible to ignore. In 2011, she co-founded The Internet with producer Matt Martians, fusing neo-soul, funk, R&B, and hip-hop into a fresh genre-defying sound. The band's albums, particularly Ego Death 2015, which earned a Grammy nomination, solidified Syd's reputation as a creative force. Songs like Girl and Special Affair showcased her minimalist yet emotionally potent delivery, creating an atmosphere that felt both deeply personal and universally relatable. Do you think Syd's low-key style has made her a more relatable figure in the often image-driven world of R&B? In 2017, she released her debut solo album, Finn, which further explored themes of love, intimacy, and self-discovery. Unlike many mainstream R&B records, Finn avoided overproduction instead, leaning on sparse beats, subtle guitar lines, and Syd's breathy vocals to create an immersive listening experience. Critics praised the project for its vulnerability and understated confidence. Syd's openness about her sexuality, she is an openly gay woman, has been a cornerstone of her artistry. Rather than masking her experiences behind gender-neutral pronouns, she often sings directly about women, making queer love stories a natural part of her narrative. This representation has resonated with fans who rarely see LGBTQ+ relationships depicted so matter-of-factly in R&B. Her influence extends beyond her own music. As a producer and collaborator, Sid has worked with artists like Beyoncé, Kalani, and Zayn, bringing her signature touch to projects across genres. She has also mentored younger musicians, particularly women and queer artists, encouraging them to embrace both the technical and creative sides of the industry. In recent years, Sid has continued to balance her solo career with her work in the internet, while exploring new sonic directions that incorporate more electronic and pop influences. Her ability to evolve while maintaining her core identity has kept her at the forefront of alternative R&B. From engineering tracks in a bedroom studio to performing on global stages, Sid's journey is a testament to the power of subtlety, authenticity, and quiet innovation. She has proven that you don't need to be the loudest voice in the room to make a lasting impact. You just need to be the truest. It's Madison. T.S. Madison born. Madison Hinton on October 22, 1977 in Miami, Florida, is an actress, media personality, entrepreneur, and LGBTQ+ advocate whose career spans adult entertainment, reality, television, music, and digital media. She has become one of the most visible and influential Black transgender women in the entertainment industry, using her platform to challenge stereotypes and open doors for others. Growing up in a conservative environment, Madison faced early challenges around gender identity and acceptance. Despite societal pressures, she embraced her truth, eventually becoming a trailblazer in the adult film industry, not just as a performer, but as a businesswoman who owned and distributed her own content. This independence allowed her to maintain control over her image, a rarity in that world. In the 2010s, she pivoted toward mainstream media, building a massive following on YouTube and social media platforms. Her candid humor, quick wit, and unapologetic personality made her a viral sensation, especially through videos where she addressed current events, sexuality, and self-love with a mix of comedy and hard truths. By openly sharing her life as a transgender woman, she provided representation that had long been missing from mainstream conversations. Madison's reach expanded with appearances in music and television. She collaborated with artists like RuPaul, and Todrick Hall appeared in Cardi B's Up music video and starred in her own reality show, The T's Madison Experience 2021, on WETV, which documented her professional journey and personal challenges. The show gave audiences an unfiltered look at the determination required to succeed in an industry that often sidelines trans talent. Do you think T's Madison's mainstream visibility is helping to break long-standing barriers for Black trans women in entertainment? She has also made notable strides in music, blending rap and R&B with bold, empowering messages. Her tracks often feature playful lyricism and confident affirmations, encouraging listeners, especially LGBTQ+ fans, to embrace their individuality without fear. Beyond entertainment, T's Madison is a powerful advocate for transgender rights and racial equality. She uses her platform to address transphobia, homophobia, and systemic injustice, often combining activism with entertainment to reach broader audiences. Her ability to navigate serious topics with humor and charisma has made her a sought-after speaker and panelist at conferences and community events. In 2022, she became the first Black trans woman to be an official judge on RuPaul's Drag Race, a milestone that highlighted her mainstream acceptance, while also underscoring the lack of trans representation in major television roles. Her presence on the panel brought both credibility and authenticity to discussions about gender expression and performance art. T's Madison's career is a testament to resilience, adaptability, and the importance of owning one's narrative. She has built an empire on her own terms, refusing to compromise her identity for the sake of marketability. In doing so, she has inspired countless people, trans and cis alike, to live unapologetically and pursue their ambitions without waiting for permission. From viral internet clips to national television screens, T's Madison's journey is more than a personal success story. It's a cultural shift in motion, proving that visibility paired with authenticity can truly change the game. Grace Jones, Grace Beverly Jones, born May 19, 1948 in Spanish Town, Jamaica, and raised in Syracuse, New York, is one of the most groundbreaking figures in entertainment history. A singer, model, actress, and cultural provocateur, Jones built an empire on her fearless artistry, androgynous image, and unapologetic individuality. Her career has spanned decades, influencing not only music and fashion, but also the cultural understanding of gender, sexuality, and performance. Raised in a strict Pentecostal household, Jones moved to the United States at the age of 13. Her upbringing was conservative and disciplined, which made her later reinvention into a flamboyant, boundary-defying star even more striking. In the early 1970s, she began a successful modeling career working in New York and Paris, and becoming a muse for top designers like Yves Saint Laurent and Kenzo. Her striking features and statuesque presence defied the conventional beauty standards of the time. Her transition into music began in the disco era of the late 1970s. With albums like Portfolio 1977, Fame 1978, and Muse 1979. Jones established herself as a disco diva with a flair for theatricality. But it was her early 1980s Compass Point trilogy, Warm Leatherette 1980, Nightclubbing 1981, and Living My Life 1982 that cemented her status as a music innovator. Fusing reggae, new wave funk, and art, Pop These Records produced classics like Pull Up to the Bumper and Slave to the Rhythm. Openly fluid in her sexuality and celebrated for her androgynous style, Grace Jones became a queer icon long before LGBTQ+ representation was common in mainstream media. She frequently played with gender in her stage performances, photo shoots, and public appearances, influencing artists from Annie Lennox to Lady Gaga. Do you think Grace Jones' refusal to conform to gender norms made it easier for later artists to embrace fluidity in their public image? Her visual collaborations with artist and then partner Jean-Paul Goude produced some of the most iconic images in pop culture, surreal, provocative, and instantly recognizable. She turned every stage runway or camera lens into an art installation, treating performance as an all-encompassing experience. Jones also made her mark in film with memorable roles in Conan the Destroyer 1984, alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger, and as the Bond villain Mayday in A View to a Kill 1985. Her screen presence was as magnetic as her stage persona, commanding unpredictable and impossible to ignore. Despite industry shifts, Grace Jones has maintained her relevance through selective appearances, collaborations, and her 2008 comeback album Hurricane, which proved her voice and vision remain as fierce as ever. She also published her autobiography, I'll Never Write My Memoirs, 2015. A candid account of her life, loves, and creative philosophy. Today, Grace Jones stands as more than just a performer. She is a cultural institution. Her artistry continues to inspire musicians, fashion designers, and visual artists around the world. Fearless, visionary, and utterly original, she has redefined what it means to be a pop star, leaving a legacy that is as genre-defying as it is timeless. Kevin Aviance. Kevin Aviance, born June 22, 1968 in Richmond, Virginia, is a singer-songwriter, drag performer, and iconic figure in New York City's ballroom and club scenes. Known for his commanding stage presence, avant-garde fashion, and fusion of dance house and electronic music, Aviance has spent decades blurring the lines between performance art and nightlife entertainment. Raised in a large family, Aviance discovered his passion for music and performance at a young age. After moving to Washington, D.C. in the late 1980s, he became involved with the House of Aviance, one of the most influential houses in the ballroom community. The name Aviance became synonymous with style, grace, and innovation, and Kevin embodied all three qualities as a central figure in the house. In the 1990s, Aviance transitioned into music, releasing a string of dance hits that became club staples. Songs like Cunty Alive and Give It Up showcased his ability to deliver fierce, hypnotic vocals over pulsating beats. His sound drew from house techno and R&B influences, creating tracks that not only dominated dance floors, but also embodied the spirit of queer liberation. Aviance's performances were never just concerts, They were immersive spectacles. Combining elaborate costumes, theatrical choreography, and unapologetic sensuality, he brought a level of artistry to club stages that rivaled major pop productions. His work attracted collaborations with top DJs and producers, further cementing his place in the global dance music community. Do you think Kevin Aviance's impact on nightlife culture has influenced how mainstream pop stars design their stage shows today? Despite his glamorous image, Aviance has also faced personal challenges. In 2006, he survived a violent hate crime attack in New York City. His resilience and return to the stage shortly afterward turned him into a symbol of strength and perseverance for the LGBTQ+ community. The incident underscored the ongoing struggles queer individuals face, even in spaces perceived as progressive. Aviance's influence extends beyond nightlife. His music has topped Billboard's Dance Club Songs chart, and his aesthetic has inspired fashion designers, photographers, and younger performance artists. He has been a fixture at Pride events worldwide, using his platform to promote inclusivity, self-expression, and unity. In 2022, Aviance experienced a career resurgence when Beyoncé sampled his classic track Cunty on her album Renaissance, introducing his work to a new generation of listeners. The homage was a nod to ballroom culture's influence on mainstream music and a testament to Aviance's enduring legacy. Through his fearless creativity and dedication to authenticity, Kevin Aviance has become more than a performer. He is a cultural custodian of queer nightlife. His career bridges the underground and the mainstream, ensuring that the artistry, history, and vibrancy of ballroom and club culture remain alive and celebrated. In every beat, every look, and every performance, Aviance reminds audiences that nightlife can be more than entertainment. It can be transformative, revolutionary, and unforgettable. Mike Q. Mike Q, born Michael Cox in New Jersey, is a DJ, producer, and cultural ambassador best known for bringing ballroom and Vogue music from underground queer spaces to international stages. As one of the most influential figures in the contemporary ballroom scene, Mike Q has preserved the genre's history while modernizing it for new audiences, ensuring that this uniquely Black and Latinx LGBTQ+ art form continues to thrive. Growing up on the East Coast, Mike Q was exposed to house music, hip-hop, and R&B, but it was ballroom culture that captured his heart. Introduced to the scene as a teenager, he quickly fell in love with its vibrant energy, competitive spirit, and emphasis on self-expression. The combination of fashion, dance, and music resonated with him, and by the late 2000s, he had begun producing tracks that would become staples at balls across the country. In 2011, Mike Q released Let It All Out on Fade to Mind, a label known for pushing the boundaries of club music. His tracks stood out for their sharp production, inventive use of vocal samples, and ability to capture the fierce, urgent energy of the ballroom runway. Songs like The Ha Dub Reworked became iconic within the community, inspiring dancers and DJs alike. Mike Q is not only a producer, but also a skilled DJ known for reading the room and crafting sets that keep dancers in constant motion. His music serves as the heartbeat of ballroom competitions, setting the tempo for categories ranging from face to Vogue femme. Do you think Mike Q's mainstream success has helped protect ballroom culture from being appropriated without proper credit? One of his most significant roles has been as the founder of the Queen Beat Collective, a record label and artist crew dedicated to preserving and promoting ballroom music. Through Queen Beat, Mike Q has mentored up-and-coming producers, hosted events, and released compilations that highlight the diversity of sounds within the scene. His influence has expanded beyond ballroom spaces. Mike Q has collaborated with major artists like Beyoncé, working on tracks that subtly incorporate ballroom elements into pop and R&B. He has also contributed music to TV series such as Pose and Legendary, both of which have brought ballroom culture to mainstream television. These projects have helped ensure that when ballroom is presented to wider audiences, it retains authenticity and remains connected to its roots. Despite his global recognition, Mike Q remains deeply connected to the community that shaped him. He regularly DJs at balls worldwide from New York to Tokyo and uses his platform to advocate for the recognition and respect of queer, Black, and Latinx creators. His commitment to preserving ballroom's integrity is evident in his insistence that the culture not be reduced to a trend, but respected as a vital artistic and social movement. By blending tradition with innovation, Mike Q has solidified his role as a cultural custodian and forward-thinking artist. His work ensures that ballroom music remains not only relevant, but also celebrated, creating space for the next generation to thrive while honoring the pioneers who came before. Moy Renee. Moy Renee was a flamboyant and fiercely original drag performer, singer, and club personality whose career, though brief, left a lasting impact on New York City's queer nightlife. Best known for the underground house classic, Miss Honey, 1992, Moy Renee embodied the unapologetic energy, style, and wit of early 1990s ballroom and club culture, long before mainstream audiences began to embrace it. Little is documented about Moy Renee's early life, but by the late 1980s and early 1990s, she had become a fixture in New York's club scene, performing in spaces like the Sound Factory and the underground drag circuits that thrived during the city's golden era of dance music. Her persona was larger than life, a combination of biting humor, sharp fashion sense, and a commanding stage presence that could light up any room. The song Miss Honey, produced by drag legend Kevin Aviance's circle of collaborators, became her signature and remains her most enduring legacy. Mixing spoken word sass with pulsing house beats, the track was an anthem of self-confidence, serving both as a celebration of queer glamour and a tongue-in-cheek commentary on vanity and excess. In the ballroom and club community, Miss Honey became more than just a track. It was a catchphrase, an attitude, and a rallying cry. Do you think Miss Honey would have gone mainstream if it had been released in today's more LGBTQ+ friendly music industry? Moy Renee's performances were characterized by a fearless embrace of gender fluidity and theatricality. She blurred the lines between singer, drag queen, and performance artist, a style that aligned her with other iconic club personalities of the era, such as RuPaul, Lady Bunny, and Kevin Aviance. While RuPaul went on to achieve international fame, Moy Renee remained firmly embedded in the underground scene where her artistry thrived without compromise. Sadly, Moy Renee's life and career were cut short. She passed away in 1997 at the age of 33. Her death marked a significant loss for the community, as she had become a beloved figure whose performances and personality brought joy and inspiration to many. Like countless queer artists of her generation, her contributions were overlooked by the mainstream during her lifetime, but have since been recognized as culturally significant. In recent years, Miss Honey has experienced a revival sampled by contemporary producers and celebrated in documentaries and retrospectives on house music and ballroom culture. The track's enduring appeal lies in its campy, confident spirit, a reminder of a time when queer nightlife provided a sanctuary for self-expression during an era marked by the AIDS crisis and widespread discrimination. Today, Moy Renee is remembered not only for her music, but also for her embodiment of a fearless, unapologetic queer identity. She represents a generation of performers who built the foundations of modern LGBTQ+ visibility in music and nightlife. While her career may have been short, the legend of Miss Honey ensures that her voice and her attitude will echo through club speakers for generations to come. Sylvester James Jr., born September 6, 1947 in Los Angeles, California, was a groundbreaking singer-songwriter and performer whose soaring falsetto, dazzling stage presence, and unapologetic queerness made him one of disco's most enduring icons. Often called the Queen of Disco, Sylvester broke barriers in an era when both his music and his identity defied social norms, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire artists and activists alike. Raised in the Pentecostal church, Sylvester's early life was steeped in gospel music. He was heavily influenced by gospel greats like Mahalia Jackson, but his flamboyant personality and nonconformity clashed with the church's conservative values. By his teenage years, he had left home seeking community among other young queer people in Los Angeles. He became involved with the avant-garde performance group The Cockettes in San Francisco, blending drag theater and music in experimental shows that pushed artistic boundaries. In the mid-1970s, Sylvester began to focus on music full-time, initially performing with the Hot Band, before signing with Fantasy Records. His 1977 self-titled album marked the start of a string of disco hits, but it was his 1978 album, Step 2, featuring You Make Me Feel Mighty Real and Dance Disco Heat, that cemented his place in music history. These songs were more than dance tracks. They were anthems of liberation, celebrating self-love and queer joy in an era of political and cultural repression. Do you think Sylvester's open embrace of his identity in the 1970s helped pave the way for today's openly queer pop stars? On stage, Sylvester was a force of nature, often appearing in sequined jumpsuits, dramatic capes, and towering heels, accompanied by his backup singers, the Two Tons of Fun, later known as the Weather Girls. His performances were a celebration of individuality, challenging rigid gender norms through his style and unapologetic presence. While Sylvester enjoyed commercial success, he also faced industry pushback for refusing to hide his sexuality or tone down his flamboyance. He rejected offers that required him to conform to heteronormative marketing strategies, insisting on artistic and personal authenticity. Beyond music, Sylvester was deeply involved in activism, particularly during the AIDS crisis of the 1980s. As one of the first major celebrities to openly discuss living with HIV, he used his platform to raise awareness and funds for research and care. Before his death, he made arrangements for the royalties from his music to go toward HIV/AIDS charities in San Francisco, ensuring his art would continue to support the community that had embraced him. Sylvester passed away on December 16, 1988, at the age of 41 from AIDS-related complications. His loss was deeply felt within the LGBTQ+ and music communities, but his influence endures. His songs remain staples of pride celebrations, and his image continues to inspire new generations of artists from RuPaul to Billy Porter. In life and in art, Sylvester embodied the belief that being true to oneself is the ultimate act of defiance and joy. He didn't just make people dance, he made them feel seen, celebrated, and mighty real. Frankie Knuckles. Frankie Knuckles, born Francis Warren Nichols Jr. on January 18, 1955 in the Bronx, New York, was a legendary DJ, producer, and remixer whose work earned him the title Godfather of House Music. His pioneering sound shaped not only the Chicago club scene of the late 1970s and 1980s, but also laid the foundation for global electronic dance music as we know it today. Raised in the Bronx, Knuckles was exposed to a wide array of music from an early age, ranging from Motown soul to disco and gospel. He studied textile design at the Fashion Institute of Technology, but his love for nightlife and music drew him into the world of DJing. In the early 1970s, he began spinning records at New York's famous clubs, including the Gallery and the Continental Baths, where he worked alongside his close friend, the late Larry Levin. In 1977, Knuckles moved to Chicago to play at a club called The Warehouse. It was here that he began experimenting with mixing disco classics, European electronic music soul, and gospel-inspired tracks, adding drum machines and reel-to-reel tape edits to extend the grooves. This hybrid sound became known as house music, named after the Warehouse itself. Knuckles' sets were not just parties, they were transformative experiences, bringing together a diverse crowd of Black, Latinx, and queer clubgoers in a safe, joyous space. Do you think Frankie Knuckles' inclusive vision for the dance floor is the reason house music remains so universal today? When the Warehouse closed in 1983, Knuckles opened his own club, the Power Plant, and continued to refine the house sound. He began releasing original tracks including the now classic Baby Powder Fresh and Baby Powder Beats, and collaborated with artists like Jamie Principle on iconic songs such as Your Love and Baby Wants to Ride the Ladder, blending house grooves with political commentary on poverty and inequality. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, house music had spread internationally, and Knuckles became a sought-after remixer for artists like Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, and Chaka Khan. His remix of Chaka Khan's Ain't Nobody and his production on tracks like Tears with Satoshi Tomiie and David Morales cemented his reputation as both a creative genius and a perfectionist behind the boards. Knuckles was also openly gay, a fact that informed his deep connection to the LGBTQ+ community. His dance floors were safe havens for queer people, particularly during the height of the AIDS crisis, and his music offered both escape and empowerment. In recognition of his cultural contributions, the city of Chicago named a stretch of Jefferson Street Frankie Knuckles Way in 2004, and in 2014, Illinois declared August 25th Frankie Knuckles Day. Sadly, Knuckles passed away on March 31, 2014 at the age of 59 due to complications from diabetes. His influence, however, continues to resonate across genres and generations. Every time a DJ drops a house track that unites a crowd in joy and movement, Frankie Knuckles' legacy is alive and thriving. Billy Strayhorn. Billy Strayhorn, born November 29, 1915 in Dayton, Ohio, and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, was a composer, pianist, arranger, and lyricist whose contributions to jazz, particularly through his decades-long collaboration with Duke Ellington, shaped some of the most enduring works in American music. Despite his immense influence, Strayhorn often remained behind the scenes, crafting melodies and arrangements that would become iconic under Ellington's name. Strayhorn's early life was marked by financial hardship, but music offered him a way out. He began studying piano and music theory as a teenager, drawing inspiration from both classical composers and jazz innovators. His gift for composition emerged early. By high school, he had already written Lush Life, a song of sophisticated melancholy that would later become a jazz standard recorded by legends such as John Coltrane and Johnny Hartman. In 1938, Strayhorn met Duke Ellington in Pittsburgh. Impressed by the young musician's talent, Ellington invited him to join his orchestra in New York. What was initially meant to be a brief mentorship turned into a lifelong partnership. Strayhorn contributed to the orchestra as both a composer and arranger, creating and co-creating works like Take the A Train, which became the band's signature tune, Chelsea Bridge, and Daydream. Do you think Billy Strayhorn would be as widely celebrated as Ellington today if he had taken more public credit for his compositions? Strayhorn's musical style was distinct harmonically, rich, lyrically sophisticated, and emotionally nuanced. While Ellington excelled at orchestration and showmanship, Strayhorn brought an introspective depth that balanced the band's sound. The two worked so closely that it was often impossible to separate their contributions, a fact that has led many historians to call Strayhorn the other half of Ellington's genius. Openly gay at a time when homosexuality was criminalized and heavily stigmatized, Strayhorn lived his life without hiding who he was. His sexuality, along with his experiences as a black man in segregated America, deeply informed his worldview and, by extension, his music. While he avoided overt political statements, his life itself was an act of quiet resistance, a refusal to conform to societal expectations. Outside his work with Ellington, Strayhorn composed for theater and ballet, and he remained a central figure in Harlem's vibrant arts community. His friends and collaborators admired him for his wit, generosity, and unwavering dedication to craft. In private, he was also a mentor to younger musicians, encouraging them to pursue originality rather than chase trends. Strayhorn's later years were overshadowed by illness. He battled esophageal cancer and passed away on May 31, 1967, at the age of 51. Ellington honored him with the album, and his mother called him Bill, a heartfelt tribute that included some of Strayhorn's most poignant compositions. Though his name was often overshadowed by Ellington's in his lifetime, Billy Strayhorn's legacy has grown steadily in the decades since his death. Today, he is celebrated not only for his contributions to jazz, but also for his role as one of the first openly gay black men to achieve prominence in American music, a quiet revolutionary whose work continues to inspire. Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday, born Eleanora Fagan on April 7, 1915 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is one of the most influential jazz vocalists in history. Known as Lady Day, she brought an unmatched depth of emotion to every song she performed, transforming simple melodies into haunting narratives of love loss and resilience. Her phrasing, timing, and ability to infuse lyrics with lived experience set her apart from her contemporaries and helped shape the very language of jazz singing. Holiday's childhood was marked by instability. Raised primarily in Baltimore, she endured poverty, an absent father, and time in reform school. Music became both her escape and her means of survival. By her late teens, she was performing in Harlem nightclubs where her distinctive voice caught the attention of producer John Hammond. This led to her first recordings in the early 1930s, including collaborations with jazz greats like Benny Goodman, Lester Young, and Count Basie. Lester Young, who became a close friend, gave her the nickname Lady Day, while she dubbed him Prez, short for President of the Tenor Saxophone. Their musical rapport produced some of the most memorable performances in jazz history, with Young's warm tone perfectly complementing Holiday's expressive delivery. Her career reached new heights in the late 1930s and 1940s, with hits like God Bless the Child, which she co-wrote Lover Man and Don't Explain. But it was her 1939 recording of Strange Fruit, a harrowing protest against the lynching of African Americans, that became one of her defining works. Sung in a slow, mournful style, the song shocked audiences and brought political urgency into jazz. Do you think Billie Holiday's willingness to record Strange Fruit helped pave the way for protest music in popular culture? Holiday's personal life was turbulent, marked by abusive relationships, financial struggles, and a long battle with drug addiction. These hardships often seeped into her performances, giving them a raw authenticity that audiences could feel. Her voice, never technically perfect by classical standards, carried a vulnerability and humanity that made her interpretations unforgettable. Despite her immense talent, Holiday faced systemic racism throughout her career. She was often denied entry to venues where she was scheduled to perform, forced to use separate facilities from white musicians, and targeted by authorities, most notably by the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, which pursued her relentlessly due to her drug use. This persecution ultimately contributed to the decline of her health and career. Even in her final years, when her voice had grown fragile, Holiday's artistry remained powerful. Her last recordings, including the 1958 album Lady in Satin, revealed a deeper, more world-weary tone that many fans consider her most emotionally gripping work. Billie Holiday died on July 17, 1959, at the age of 44 under police guard in a hospital bed with only $0.70 in her bank account, despite her fame. Yet her influence has only grown since her passing. She inspired generations of singers from Nina Simone to Amy Winehouse, and remains a symbol of both the beauty and tragedy of artistic genius. Billie Holiday didn't just sing songs, she lived them. And in doing so, she left behind a body of work that continues to resonate, reminding us of music's power to tell the deepest truths. Little Richard. Little Richard, born Richard Wayne Penniman on December 5, 1932, in Macon, Georgia, was one of the most electrifying performers in music history. Often called the architect of rock and roll, he helped shape the genre's sound and style in the 1950s with his explosive piano-playing, raspy vocals, and wild, flamboyant stage persona. His influence on later generations of musicians from the Beatles to Prince is immeasurable, and his open embrace of androgyny and queer identity made him a revolutionary figure long before mainstream culture was ready to accept it. Raised in a deeply religious household, Little Richard grew up singing in church, where gospel's passionate energy left a permanent imprint on his music. He was one of 12 children, and his father was both a church deacon and a nightclub owner, a contradiction that exposed young Richard to both sacred and secular worlds. At 13, he left home due to tensions about his sexuality and nonconformity, finding work in traveling medicine and vaudeville shows where he honed his showmanship. In 1955, Little Richard's career exploded with the release of Tutti Frutti, a song whose original suggestive lyrics were toned down for mainstream release, yet still carried an infectious energy that shocked and thrilled audiences. Hits like Long Tall Sally, Good Golly, Miss Molly and Lucille soon followed, each combining pounding piano rhythms, driving beats, and Richard's signature wails and screams. Do you think Little Richard's unapologetic performance style made it possible for future artists to push the boundaries of gender and sexuality in music? Little Richard's stage presence was unlike anything the era had seen. He wore flamboyant clothing, heavy makeup, and high pompadour hairstyles, blurring the lines between masculine and feminine presentation. While he never fully embraced a public label for his sexuality during his peak years, he openly had relationships with both men and women and often acknowledged his attraction to men in interviews, a bold stance for a black artist in the conservative 1950s. At the height of his fame, Richard shocked fans by leaving rock and roll in 1957 to pursue gospel music, citing a religious calling. During this period, he recorded several gospel albums and toured internationally as a preacher. However, he returned to secular music in the early 1960s, regaining popularity in the US and Europe. His comeback tours often drew younger rock stars, including the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, who cited him as a primary influence. Despite his musical brilliance, Richard's career was marked by internal conflict over his sexuality, faith, and public image. In later years, his views on sexuality shifted multiple times, sometimes affirming his queer identity, and other times denouncing it due to religious beliefs. Nevertheless, his legacy as a queer pioneer in rock and roll remains undeniable. Little Richard passed away on May 9, 2020, at the age of 87 from bone cancer. Tributes poured in from artists across genres, each acknowledging that his fearless style and groundbreaking sound had paved the way for countless performers. From his trailblazing music to his flamboyant image, Little Richard didn't just play rock and roll, he embodied it, showing the world that music could be as loud, colorful, and unapologetically free as the people who make it. Chika, born Jane Chika Oranika, on March 9, 1997, in Montgomery, Alabama, is a Nigerian-American rapper, singer, and songwriter whose sharp lyricism, fearless activism, and unapologetic authenticity have made her one of the most compelling voices in contemporary hip-hop. Known for her incisive social commentary and genre-blending style, Chika has built a career that values substance over flash, earning critical acclaim and a devoted fan base. Growing up in the American South, Chika was deeply influenced by gospel R&B and hip-hop, as well as her Nigerian heritage. She began writing poetry and performing spoken word as a teenager, honing her craft as a storyteller. Her early work often tackled themes of race identity and mental health topics that would later become hallmarks of her music. Chika's rise to fame began in 2017 when her social media freestyles went viral, particularly her politically charged verses over popular beats. One of her early breakout moments came with a freestyle over Kanye West's Jesus Walks, in which she called out his political stances, earning widespread attention for her fearlessness and lyrical precision. Her major label debut EP, Industry Games 2020, solidified her place in hip-hop. The project balanced braggadocio with vulnerability, featuring tracks like the title song Industry Games, where she called out the exploitative nature of the music business, and Songs About You, which showcased her melodic versatility. Do you think Chika's focus on honesty over industry trends will help her career have more staying power than many of her peers? In 2020, Chika earned a Grammy nomination for Best New Artist, a rare honor for someone with only one official EP at the time. She also landed a spot on XXL's coveted freshman class list, further cementing her status as an emerging force. Her sound draws from both classic rap influences and contemporary R&B, creating a unique space where socially conscious bars and smooth hooks coexist. Openly queer Chika has been vocal about her sexuality and the importance of LGBTQ+ representation in hip-hop, a genre that has historically been hostile to such visibility. She uses her platform to challenge stereotypes both in her music and in interviews, and has spoken candidly about her struggles with depression and bipolar disorder, normalizing conversations around mental health in the Black community. Her fashion sense, often androgynous and bold, further reinforces her refusal to conform to industry expectations, while her stage presence combines confidence with a sense of intimacy that draws audiences in. Chika's performances often feel like direct conversations with her listeners, blurring the line between artist and audience. Though she has faced online harassment and taken breaks from social media to protect her mental well-being, Chika remains committed to her craft. She continues to release singles, collaborate with other artists, and contribute to film soundtracks, proving that her artistry extends beyond traditional album cycles. Chika's journey is one of talent, conviction, and courage. She's not just making music, she's using her voice to challenge norms, elevate conversations, and carve out space for authenticity in a world that often rewards conformity. In doing so, she's setting the stage for a legacy that's as fearless as it is poetic. Cakes da Killa. Cakes da Killa born. Rashard Bradshaw in 1990 in Teaneck, New Jersey is a rapper and performer celebrated for his razor-sharp lyricism, rapid-fire flow, and unapologetic embrace of queer identity. As one of the leading figures in the queer rap movement of the 2010s, he has challenged the hyper-masculine norms of hip-hop while delivering club-ready tracks that blend with sensuality and technical mastery. Growing up in the New Jersey suburbs, Cakes was drawn to music, fashion, and creative writing from an early age. His influences ranged from 1990s hip-hop icons like Lil' Kim and Busta Rhymes to house and ballroom culture, which would later play a significant role in his sonic and visual aesthetic. He began experimenting with rap while attending college, uploading mixtapes online that quickly caught the attention of music blogs and underground audiences. His 2011 debut mixtape, Easy Bake Oven Vol. 1, introduced a brash, confident voice unafraid to center queer sexuality in his lyrics. Songs often contained explicit references to same-sex attraction and relationships, a deliberate choice in a genre where such openness was rare. Cakes' delivery, both playful and aggressive, allowed him to claim space in hip-hop on his own terms. The 2013 mixtape The Eulogy brought wider recognition, showcasing his ability to balance high-energy party tracks with intricate wordplay. Collaborations with producers from the electronic and house scenes further expanded his sound, merging hip-hop with beats designed for the dance floor. Do you think Cakes da Killa's bold lyricism has helped dismantle stereotypes about queer representation in rap? In 2016, Cakes released his debut studio album, Hedonism, which solidified his reputation as a genre-blending innovator. Tracks like New Phone, Who Dis, and Up Out My Face demonstrated his knack for combining ballroom-inspired rhythms with sharp punchlines while maintaining a sense of fun and flamboyance. Cakes' artistry extends beyond music. He has been a fixture in New York City's nightlife scene, performing at clubs, pride events, and international festivals. His fashion choices, often bold, androgynous, and runway-ready, reflect his belief that style is as integral to performance as the music itself. In 2022, he released Svengali, a project that received critical acclaim for its polished production and more introspective themes. While still rooted in queer celebration, the album explored love, vulnerability, and ambition with a maturity that signaled his evolution as an artist. Throughout his career, Cakes da Killa has resisted industry pressure to tone down his queerness or conform to commercial rap stereotypes. Instead, he has built a loyal fan base that values authenticity, lyrical skill, and a willingness to push boundaries. From his mixtape beginnings to his present-day acclaim, Cakes da Killa has proven that hip-hop can be inclusive without losing its edge. His work is a celebration of confidence, individuality, and the unapologetic embrace of identity, a reminder that the genre's future belongs to those bold enough to rewrite its rules. Abdu Ali. Abdu Ali, born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland, is a multidisciplinary artist, musician, and community organizer whose work defies traditional genre boundaries. Known for blending elements of rap-punk experimental electronic music and Baltimore club, Ali has created a sound and performance style rooted in liberation, Black queer identity, and radical self-expression. Their art is as much about creating safe, empowering spaces as it is about the music itself. Growing up in Baltimore, Ali was influenced by the city's rich musical heritage, from its gritty hip-hop scene to the high-energy rhythms of Baltimore club music. They also absorbed inspiration from Afrofuturist thinkers and visionaries such as Sun Ra and Octavia E. Butler, whose explorations of Black identity and imagined futures deeply shaped Ali's creative worldview. Ali began releasing music in the early 2010s, quickly standing out for their confrontational yet affirming lyrics. Songs like Keep Movin' and Chastity merged raw stream-of-consciousness verses with frenetic beats, encouraging listeners to embrace themselves fully while resisting oppressive systems. Ali's live performances became legendary in Baltimore's underground scene, part concert, part spiritual ritual, and part political rally. In 2019, Ali released Faya, a genre-blurring album that fused electronic textures with jazz, punk, and hip-hop influences. The record was both deeply personal and fiercely political, tackling issues such as systemic racism, mental health, and queer survival with unflinching honesty. Do you think Abdu Ali's blend of activism and art is reshaping what it means to be a musician in the modern era? Outside of their own recordings, Ali is deeply committed to building community. They founded Kalon, a Baltimore-based music and arts festival that has become a hub for experimental and marginalized artists. Through Kalon and other projects, Ali has created platforms for voices often excluded from mainstream spaces, especially Black and queer artists working in non-traditional genres. Ali's work is steeped in the belief that art should be a tool for empowerment. They regularly speak about dismantling white supremacy, combating homophobia and transphobia, and encouraging collective care. Their refusal to separate their identity from their artistry has made them a role model for a new generation of queer musicians who want to create without compromise. While their music resists easy categorization, the emotional core of Ali's work remains consistent, a celebration of resilience, self-determination, and community love. Whether they are rapping over pounding club beats, delivering poetic spoken word, or curating events, Ali's presence commands attention and inspires connection. Abdu Ali stands as proof that music can be a catalyst for both personal healing and societal change. By merging sound performance and activism, they have built a legacy that goes beyond albums or singles, one rooted in the ongoing fight for freedom, equality, and self-actualization for Black queer people everywhere. Blood Orange Dev Hynes. Blood Orange is the stage name of Devonte Hynes, born December 23, 1985 in London, England. A singer-songwriter, producer, and multi-instrumentalist, Hynes has built a career on crafting lush, genre-defying soundscapes that weave together R&B, funk, indie pop, electronic music, and socially conscious storytelling. His work under the Blood Orange moniker is celebrated for its emotional depth, intimate lyricism, and nuanced exploration of race, sexuality, and identity. Before adopting the Blood Orange name, Hynes performed in the dance punk band Test Icicles, and later as a solo artist under the name Lightspeed Champion. While those projects showcased his eclectic influences, it was with Blood Orange, launched in 2011, that he fully realized his artistic voice. His debut album, Coastal Grooves, introduced a sleek nocturnal blend of R&B and pop inspired by 1980s new wave and queer nightlife culture. Hynes' breakthrough came with Cupid Deluxe 2013 and Freetown Sound 2016, both critically acclaimed for their sonic sophistication and thematic boldness. Freetown Sound in particular was hailed as a masterwork, an album that tackled topics like Black identity, police brutality, and queer love, while still delivering infectious grooves and heartfelt melodies. Do you think Blood Orange's ability to address complex social issues through smooth, accessible music is the reason his work resonates across so many audiences? His 2018 album, Negro Swan, delved deeply into themes of depression, self-acceptance, and community, with interludes featuring trans activist Janet Mock. The record blurred lines between confessional storytelling and cultural commentary, offering a safe sonic space for marginalized listeners. In 2019, he released Angel's Pulse, a mixtape-style project that further demonstrated his versatility, moving effortlessly between hazy ballads, upbeat funk, and lo-fi experimentation. As a producer and collaborator, Hines has worked with a staggering range of artists, including Solange True, EP AZAP, Rocky Carly Rae Jepsen, Haim FKA Twigs, and Mariah Carey. His production style, characterized by warm synths, intricate bass lines, and layered harmonies, has become instantly recognizable even when he's working behind the scenes. Hines is openly bisexual, and his music often reflects his lived experiences navigating love, desire, and identity. Rather than sensationalizing queerness, he integrates it into his narratives with the same intimacy and normalcy as any other aspect of his life, helping to normalize LGBTQ+ representation in contemporary R&B and pop. Beyond music, Hines is a skilled visual artist and composer, having scored films and dance performances. His work in these mediums further reveals his talent for creating mood-driven, emotionally immersive worlds. Blood Orange's artistry lies in his ability to merge vulnerability with sophistication, crafting music that feels both deeply personal and universally relatable. In an industry often obsessed with trends, Dev Hines stands apart by building a timeless body of work that challenges, comforts, and inspires. His legacy will be that of an artist who used beauty, groove, and honesty to tell the stories that matter most. Yves Tumor. Yves Tumor, born Sean Bowie in Miami, Florida, and raised in Knoxville, Tennessee, is a singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist whose work defies easy categorization. Known for blending experimental rock, psychedelic soul noise, electronica, and R&B, Yves has emerged as one of the most enigmatic and genre-pushing artists of the 21st century. Their ability to reinvent themselves from project to project, both sonically and visually, has earned them a reputation as a fearless innovator. Growing up in a conservative environment, Yves discovered music as an escape and a means of self-expression. They taught themselves to play multiple instruments as a teenager and began recording lo-fi tracks in their bedroom. Seeking broader artistic freedom, they left Tennessee in their early 20s, spending time in California and eventually relocating to Europe, where they became part of the experimental electronic scene. Initially releasing music under different aliases, Yves adopted their current moniker in the mid-2010s and signed with the influential label Pan. Early projects like When Man Fails You 2015 and Serpent Music 2016 introduced a haunting textured sound that fused ambient noise with soulful melodies. But it was their 2018 album, Safe in the Hands of Love, that marked a breakthrough, earning critical acclaim for its bold mix of genres and emotional intensity. In 2020, Yves released Heaven to a Tortured Mind, a record that leaned more heavily into glam rock and psychedelic soul, while still maintaining their signature experimental edge. Tracks like Gospel for a New Century and Kerosene showcased a more accessible yet still unpredictable side of their artistry. Do you think Yves Tumor's refusal to stick to one genre is the reason they've built such a devoted and diverse fan base? Their live performances are as transformative as their recordings, often incorporating elaborate lighting, surreal visuals, and androgynous fashion. Yves creates immersive experiences that blur the line between concert and performance art. Their stage presence, confident, mysterious, and magnetic, has drawn comparisons to icons like Prince and David Bowie, both of whom similarly balanced mainstream appeal with avant-garde experimentation. Yves Tumor is openly queer, and their work often challenges heteronormative and gender-binary perspectives, not through overt political messaging, but by embodying fluidity in sound, image, and performance. This authenticity has made them a cultural figurehead for fans who see themselves reflected in their fearless self-expression. In 2023, they released Praise a Lord Who Chews But Which Does Not Consume, or simply Hot Between Worlds, an ambitious and sonically rich project that further blurred the lines between alternative rock pop and experimental R&B. Critics praised it for its bold production and Yves' ability to balance accessibility with artistic risk-taking. By constantly reinventing themselves while maintaining a core identity rooted in experimentation and emotional truth, Yves Tumor has carved out a space entirely their own. They've proven that music doesn't have to fit neatly into a category to connect deeply with audiences. It only needs to be honest, fearless, and impossible to ignore. Mickey Blanco. Mickey Blanco, born Michael David Quattlebaum Jr. on April 2, 1986, in Orange County, California, is a rapper, performance artist, poet, and activist whose career has consistently defied convention. Known for their fearless exploration of gender fluidity, political expression, and underground culture, Blanco has become one of the most important voices in queer hip-hop, a space they helped pioneer in the early 2010s. Raised between California and North Carolina, Blanco was drawn to the arts from an early age. They attended the School of the Art Institute of Chicago and later the Eugene Lang College in New York City, where they began to explore poetry, performance, and experimental art. Initially recognized for their spoken-word performances, Blanco used art as a way to challenge social norms and push conversations around identity and sexuality into public discourse. In 2012, Blanco released the debut mixtape Mickey Blanco and the Mutant Angels, an avant-garde fusion of rap, punk, and noise. They quickly gained a cult following for their intense confrontational live shows and bold visuals, often performing in drag or gender-fluid attire. Tracks like Wavy and Kingpinning demonstrated that Blanco could pair lyrical complexity with high-energy club beats, breaking through hip-hop's traditionally rigid gender expectations. Blanco's 2016 debut studio album, Mickey, further established their artistry with introspective tracks like High School Never Ends, exploring themes of love, rejection, and resilience. The album's production, blending electronic hip-hop and experimental elements, reflected Blanco's refusal to be boxed into one genre. Do you think Mickey Blanco's blending of performance art and rap has expanded what hip-hop can represent culturally, openly queer, and HIV positive? Blanco has been candid about their experiences with stigma and discrimination. Their openness about living with HIV has been groundbreaking in the music industry, where such discussions are still rare. In interviews, they've emphasized the importance of visibility, particularly for Black, queer, and trans people navigating industries that often marginalize them. Blanco's activism extends beyond their music. They've collaborated with LGBTQ+ organizations, participated in public health campaigns, and used their social media platforms to speak out against racism, transphobia, and homophobia. Their work often blurs the lines between art and activism, embodying the belief that music can be both entertainment and a vehicle for social change. In recent years, Blanco's sound has evolved into something even more eclectic, incorporating dreamy R&B, Afrobeat, and pop influences. Releases like Broken Hearts and Beauty Sleep 2021 and Stay Close to Music 2022 showcased a more polished yet still deeply personal approach, featuring collaborations with artists such as Dev Hynes, Blood Orange, Michael Stipe, and Kari Fo. Whether performing in an underground club or on an international festival stage, Mickey Blanco remains a singular figure, unpredictable, uncompromising, and unapologetically themselves. Their career stands as proof that authenticity, even when it challenges the status quo, can resonate far beyond niche audiences. By merging artistry, activism, and vulnerability, Mickey Blanco has not only expanded the possibilities of queer hip-hop, but also inspired a generation of artists to embrace their identities as a source of creative power. Kitty Smile. Kitty Smile, born Pierre Hache in Paris, France, is a DJ, producer, singer, and fashion icon whose music and activism are rooted in the intersection of house culture, ballroom history, and queer representation. Often referred to as the French Prince of Voguing, he has become a vital voice in bringing ballroom-inspired house music to international audiences while unapologetically centering Black and LGBTQ+ identity. Growing up in a working-class suburb of Paris to immigrant parents from the Ivory Coast, Kitty faced both racism and homophobia in his youth. He found refuge in music and fashion, gravitating toward 1990s U.S. house gospel-infused club tracks and the voguing culture of New York's ballroom scene. These influences would later shape his sound, an infectious blend of deep house disco and politically charged lyrics. Kitty's career began in fashion, where his striking style and confidence caught the attention of designers, leading to modeling gigs and collaborations with luxury brands. But his true passion was music, and he began DJing in Parisian clubs before producing his own tracks. Early singles like Let a Bee Tech Know showcased his knack for combining irresistible beats with bold, confrontational messaging about identity and pride. In 2018, Kitty released his debut album, One Trick Pony, a project that merged high-energy house grooves with autobiographical lyrics about growing up queer, Black and working class in France. Songs like Be Honest and Let Me Talk addressed racism, homophobia, and self-liberation while keeping the dance floor at the center of the experience. Do you think Kitty Smile's unapologetic presence in French culture has challenged Europe's often conservative view of LGBTQ+ expression? That same year, Kitty made headlines when he performed Be Honest at the Élysée Palace, the official residence of the French president, during an event celebrating music. His bold decision to wear a shirt emblazoned with the words, "Son of Immigrants, Black and Gay," was widely praised as a fearless act of visibility in a political climate where discussions of race immigration and queer rights are often contentious. Beyond his own recordings, Kitty has been deeply involved in the revival of ballroom culture in France. He has organized and hosted Vogue balls, mentored young dancers, and collaborated with international ballroom legends to build a vibrant Paris scene. His music often doubles as a soundtrack for these events, fusing tradition with modern production. Kitty's influence extends to fashion and media. He has been a fixture at Paris Fashion Week-styled editorials for high-profile magazines and appeared in documentaries highlighting ballroom culture. His sense of style, bold, colorful, and gender-fluid, is an extension of his artistry, making him as much a visual icon as a musical one. By bridging the worlds of club music, fashion, and activism, Kitty Smile has carved out a space where self-expression is both celebrated and politicized. He stands as a reminder that dance music at its core has always been about freedom, the freedom to exist, to love, and to be seen. Serpent with Feet. Serpent with Feet. Born Josiah Wise on July 9, 1988 in Baltimore, Maryland, is a singer-songwriter and composer known for blending gospel, classical R&B, and experimental electronic music into hauntingly intimate works. His music is often described as devotional, not in a strictly religious sense, but in the way it treats love, queerness, and vulnerability as sacred subjects. With his soaring vocals and intricate arrangements, Serpent with Feet has carved out a space in modern music where tenderness is revolutionary. Wise grew up in a deeply religious household, singing in church choirs and training in classical voice from a young age. His parents encouraged his musical interests, though his queerness often put him at odds with the conservative church environment. This tension between faith, love, and identity would later become one of the central themes of his work. After studying vocal performance in college, Wise moved to Philadelphia and then New York City, immersing himself in the experimental music scene. Adopting the moniker Serpent with Feet, he began creating songs that wove together operatic technique, gospel harmonies, and electronic textures. His 2016 debut EP Blisters, produced with the Haxon Cloak, announced him as a bold new voice in avant-garde R&B full of emotional intensity and poetic lyricism. His first full-length album, Soil, 2018, explored love and longing with an otherworldly sensibility. Songs like Bless Your Heart and Cherubim combined devotional imagery with explicit expressions of same-sex desire, creating a unique musical space where queer love was treated with the reverence often reserved for the divine. Do you think Serpent with Feet's romantic storytelling has helped redefine how queer intimacy is portrayed in R&B? In 2021, he released Deacon, a warmer, more accessible album that celebrated Black queer love with joy rather than heartbreak. Tracks like Fellowship featuring Sampha and Lil Silva were tributes to friendship and chosen family, while Same Size Shoe was a playful ode to finding a partner who shared not only emotional compatibility, but literal shoe size. The album reflected a shift in his narrative from longing for love to basking in it. Serpent with Feet's work is notable for how it elevates the mundane moments of intimacy, cooking for a lover, sharing jokes, holding hands, to the level of sacred ritual. His operatic training gives his vocals a grandeur that contrasts beautifully with the everyday details he sings about, creating a feeling that love itself is a holy act. Beyond his albums, Wise has collaborated with a wide range of artists including Bjork, Ty Dolla, IGN, Ellie Goulding, and Brockhampton, bringing his singular voice and perspective to diverse musical contexts. His stage performances, often incorporating dramatic visuals and ceremonial staging, reinforce the spiritual dimension of his music. Serpent with Feet's artistry is a reminder that softness can be a form of power. By centering queer Black love in his work and framing it as something sacred and worthy of reverence, he is challenging the cultural narratives that have long marginalized such expressions. In doing so, he has not only expanded the vocabulary of R&B, but also created a musical sanctuary for those who see themselves in his songs. Anye Elite. Anye Elite. Born Anthony Antoine on August 21, 1985 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is a rapper-songwriter and LGBTQ+ activist who has spent his career using music as a tool for visibility, empowerment, and social change. Known for his blend of hip-hop bravado, political messaging, and personal storytelling, Anye has been a prominent voice in advocating for the rights and dignity of Black queer communities, particularly in the American South. Raised in Philadelphia, Anye was immersed in a city with a deep musical heritage, from soul legends to pioneering hip-hop artists. He began writing rhymes as a teenager, drawing on influences like Tupac Shakur for his social consciousness and Missy Elliott for her bold creativity. In his early 20s, he relocated to Atlanta, a move that would become pivotal for both his music and activism. In 2006, Anye released Gay 101, a mixtape that marked him as one of the few openly gay rappers willing to directly address homophobia in hip-hop. His lyrics balanced confidence with vulnerability, taking aim at stereotypes while celebrating self-acceptance. Over time, he became known not just for his music, but also for his willingness to speak out publicly about the intersections of race, sexuality, and inequality. By 2009, Anye's advocacy work was as prominent as his artistry. He founded Black Gay Pride Atlanta, an initiative aimed at creating safe celebratory spaces for the city's Black LGBTQ+ community. His events often combined live music, drag performances, and educational programming, reinforcing his belief that art and activism should go hand in hand. Do you think artists like Anye Elite, who merge activism with music, are essential for making hip-hop more inclusive? Musically, Anye has never shied away from discussing topics that many mainstream rappers avoid, from living with HIV to the challenges of being openly queer in a heteronormative industry. His transparency about his HIV-positive status has been particularly impactful, breaking stigmas and encouraging others to seek testing treatment and community support. Anye's tracks often carry a mix of pride anthems and hard-hitting critiques. Songs like I'm a Gentleman and FAG reclaim slurs and subvert expectations, turning language once used to wound into declarations of empowerment. This reclamation, paired with his smooth flow and sharp lyricism, has helped him carve out a loyal fan base that values both his message and his skill. Outside the recording booth, Anye has been a fixture in national LGBTQ+ conversations, speaking at conferences, leading workshops, and mentoring younger queer artists. His work has earned recognition from advocacy organizations, further cementing his role as a cultural leader. While he has faced industry resistance from promoters, hesitant to book openly gay rappers to radio stations, unwilling to play his tracks, Anye has remained steadfast in his mission. For him, success isn't measured solely by chart positions, but by the impact his words and actions have on his community. Anye Elite's legacy is one of courage and persistence. By refusing to separate his identity from his art, he has helped pave the way for a more inclusive hip-hop landscape, proving that authenticity and activism can be as powerful on the mic as they are in the streets. Billy Porter. Billy Porter, born September 21, 1969, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is an Emmy, Grammy, and Tony Award-winning performer, singer-director, and outspoken advocate for LGBTQ+ rights. Known for his powerhouse vocals, commanding stage presence, and bold fashion statements, Porter has built a career that blends artistry and activism, breaking barriers for Black queer representation in entertainment. Growing up in a devoutly religious household, Porter found his earliest musical inspiration in the church. He developed a love for performance through gospel singing, eventually studying drama at Carnegie Mellon University. His immense talent and theatrical flair quickly set him apart. However, as a young gay Black man, he faced both racial and homophobic discrimination in the entertainment industry, forcing him to fight for roles and recognition on his own terms. In the early 1990s, Porter emerged on Broadway, starring in productions such as Miss Saigon and Grease. His breakthrough came in 2013, when he originated the role of Lola in Kinky Boots, a performance that earned him the Tony Award for Best Actor in a Musical. The role allowed him to merge his musical theater brilliance with unapologetic queer representation, inspiring countless LGBTQ+ fans who saw themselves reflected in his performance. While Broadway cemented his reputation, television brought him global fame. In 2018, Porter starred as Pray Tell in FX's groundbreaking series Pose, set in New York's ballroom scene of the 1980s and 1990s. His portrayal of the sharp-tongued, deeply compassionate MC earned him an Emmy Award, making him the first openly gay Black man to win in the lead actor in a drama series category. Do you think Billy Porter's success in both Broadway and television has helped shift mainstream perceptions of queer Black men in entertainment? Porter's influence extends far beyond acting. As a singer, he has released multiple albums ranging from soulful R&B to gospel-infused pop, showcasing his versatility and vocal power. His music often carries themes of self-love, resilience, and liberation, mirroring the messages he delivers in his activism. Equally famous for his red carpet appearances, Porter has turned fashion into a political statement. From the tuxedo gown he wore to the 2019 Oscars to his extravagant Met Gala looks, he uses clothing to challenge gender norms and celebrate queer expression. These style choices have sparked global conversations about masculinity, identity, and representation. Offstage, Porter is an unflinching advocate for the LGBTQ+ community, particularly for Black queer youth. In 2021, he publicly revealed that he has been living with HIV for over a decade, a disclosure that he said was motivated by a desire to combat stigma and encourage others to live openly and without shame. Billy Porter's career is a testament to the power of authenticity. He has navigated an industry that often tries to confine Black queer talent into narrow roles, and instead, he has expanded the possibilities of what a performer can be. By bringing his whole self to his art, Porter has not only achieved personal success, but has also opened doors for the next generation of LGBTQ+ artists to shine unapologetically. Todrick Hall. Todrick Hall, born April 4, 1985, in Plainview, Texas, is a singer-songwriter, dancer, choreographer-director, and YouTube personality whose career thrives on blending music theater and digital creativity. Known for his high-energy performances, sharp choreography, and unapologetic embrace of queer identity, Hall has become one of the most visible and versatile LGBTQ+ entertainers of his generation. Raised in a small Texas town hall, discovered his love for performing through musical theater and dance at an early age. He trained extensively in both singing and choreography, which would later become the foundation of his multifaceted career. His first taste of national attention came in 2010 when he competed on American Idol Season 9, impressing audiences with his theatrical flair and originality. After Idol, Hall turned to YouTube to showcase his creativity without the constraints of traditional media. His channel quickly gained millions of views for its elaborate musical parodies, mashups, and original compositions. Projects like Beauty and the Beat, a parody of Disney's Beauty and the Beast with a hip-hop twist, and his Beyoncé-inspired flash mobs demonstrated his knack for merging pop culture references with queer sensibilities. In addition to his online fame, Hall has built an impressive theater and television resume. He appeared on Broadway in shows like Kinky Boots Chicago and Memphis, often taking on roles that allowed him to blend his love of music, dance, and storytelling. His Broadway performances mirrored his own life, bold, unapologetic, and deeply committed to authenticity. Do you think Todrick Hall's ability to dominate both digital and live performance spaces makes him one of the most adaptable artists in the LGBTQ+ entertainment world? Hall's original music also reflects his unique blend of influences. Albums like Straight Outta Oz 2016 reimagined The Wizard of Oz as an autobiographical journey, tackling themes of racism, homophobia, fame, and self-discovery. Later projects such as Forbidden 2018 and Femulan 2021 pushed his musical boundaries further, mixing pop, R&B, hip-hop, and house, while centering messages of empowerment, sexual freedom, and individuality. As a choreographer and creative director, Hall has collaborated with some of the biggest names in entertainment, including Beyoncé, Taylor Swift, and RuPaul. He has appeared as a judge and choreographer on RuPaul's Drag Race and other reality competitions, bringing his signature high standards and exuberance to the screen. While his career has seen immense success, Hall has also faced public controversies, including accusations from former collaborators about working conditions and payment disputes. Though these moments sparked debate, they also underscored the challenges of navigating visibility and entrepreneurship as an independent queer artist in an industry that still has systemic barriers. Hall remains an outspoken advocate for LGBTQ+ visibility, particularly for queer people of color. His performances often double as celebrations of queer culture, from ballroom references to drag artistry, and he uses his platform to inspire younger generations to embrace their truth without compromise. Todrick Hall's legacy lies in his refusal to be limited to a single medium. Whether on Broadway behind a camera or leading a viral dance number, he continues to prove that art, when infused with authenticity and fearlessness, can thrive across boundaries, reaching audiences far beyond the stage or the screen. From the Harlem ballrooms of the past to the global stages of today, Black LGBTQ+ artists have redefined what it means to live and create unapologetically. Their music style and stories have not only transformed the entertainment industry, but have also challenged deeply ingrained prejudices. These trailblazers have proven that authenticity is not a limitation, it's a superpower. From Billy Porter's groundbreaking red carpet moments to Todrick Hall's genre-bending artistry, each has expanded the space for representation, making room for future generations to dream even bigger. Yet the question remains, has the industry truly embraced these artists, or is it still benefiting from their creativity while holding on to outdated barriers? At Legends of Black Excellence, we believe these stories must be told not only to honor their artistry, but also to spark conversations about equity, visibility, and respect. Their impact goes beyond music and performance. It's about rewriting cultural narratives and creating a future where no one has to hide who they are to succeed. So we ask you, in a world still grappling with acceptance, are we ready to celebrate Black queer excellence, not just in moments,